It's kind of funny when you think about it. We spend weeks, maybe months, researching the perfect 4K television. We obsess over projectors, contrast ratios, all of it. And then we just grab whatever old cable is in a drawer to connect it all. But today we're flipping that. We are looking at a piece of hardware that claims to solve the long-distance 4K problem. We're doing a deep dive into the Kramer CLS-AOCH-60-50.
And honestly, just calling it a cable doesn't really do it justice. It's more like an active piece of tech that just happens to look like a wire. This specific one is 15 meters, so about 50 feet, and it's a hybrid fiber solution. It was designed because standard copper HDMI, well, it has a huge blind spot when you're talking about distance.
Right. Copper is fine for short runs, from your player to your TV.
Yeah.
But it's just physics. When you try to push a huge 18 gigabit per second signal, which is what you need for true 4K over more than a few meters, copper just taps out. You get signal loss, sparkles on the screen.
Or just nothing. A black screen. That's the core issue. It's resistance. It builds up. And that's why this uses active optical technology. It literally takes the electrical HDMI signal, converts it into light pulses, shoots it down these tiny fiber optic strands, and then converts it back to electricity on the other side.
Which basically gets rid of the resistance problem entirely.
Yeah.
Light doesn't degrade like that.
Precisely. You get zero signal attenuation. What goes in is what comes out. We're talking full, uncompressed 4K at 60 hertz with 4.4.4 chroma sampling.
And that 4.4.4 number is so important for people to understand. It means you're getting all the color information. A lot of long copper cables kind of cheat. They compress the color data to keep the signal stable. But with fiber, you have the bandwidth. You're sending every single pixel exactly as it was intended.
And you have headroom for the audio, too. Full Dolby, True HD, DTS HD, all of it. And the other huge win with fiber is immunity. It's glass. It doesn't care about electromagnetic interference. You can run this right next to power lines inside a wall, and you won't get any of that static or hum.
Okay, so usually when I hear fiber optic, my brain goes to fragile and bulky. But looking at the design here, the physical part is maybe the most clever thing about it. They've solved the single biggest headache for any installer.
Ah, you mean getting the connector through the wall?
Yes, getting that fat HDMI head through a tiny little conduit.
This is the aha moment. This Kramer has removable HDMI connectors. You just pull the standard head off, and underneath is a tiny micro HDMI connector.
Which is so much smaller. You put on this little pull-through capsule they include. You can just snake it through anything. And the cable itself is only, what, 3.4 millimeters thick?
It's razor thin compared to a shielded copper cable of the same length. And it has a bend radius of just 6 millimeters. So you can rotate it around tight corners without worrying about snapping the cores inside. It's really designed to be pulled, bent, and hidden away.
We should probably touch on the safety side of this, too. The spec sheet mentions a low smoke and halogen-free jacket. That sounds like a lot of jargon, but if you're putting this inside a wall or a ceiling, it's actually critical.
It's all about what happens in a fire. It's about toxicity. Your standard PVC jacket on a cable, if it burns, releases these really toxic halogens. So in commercial buildings, and even in a home theater, you're often required to use low smoke, zero halogen materials. This meets the European RoHS standards, which is a pretty high bar for safety compliance.
Plus, the 24K gold-plated connectors to stop corrosion. It really feels like they built this to be a permanent part of the building.
And that's the right mindset. This cable is about $320 right now, down from $400. And that sounds like a lot if you're comparing it to a generic cord from a big box store. But you have to think about the total cost.
Right, because if you buy that cheap $20 long cable, it's either going to fail or it's going to throttle your very expensive gear.
Right.
And then what? You're tearing open your drywall to replace it.
Exactly. This is an investment in your infrastructure. You install it once, and it's ready for everything. HDR, 4K, high bandwidth audio for years to come. It's making sure the pipe is actually big enough for the water you're trying to push through it.
So here's a thought to leave you with. You might have a 4K-ready television and a 4K-ready Blu-ray player. But if that pipe connecting them is squeezing the data down to nothing, are you actually watching 4K? Or are you just watching a very expensive bottleneck?